Welcome to the sustainability meeting. It's May 8th, 2024. It is 6:33. We don't have any citizens. So I don't think we have any citizen comments. So we will proceed to the next item, which is C1, consider approving minutes for the April 10th, 2024 meeting and take appropriate action. Is there any discussion about the minutes from last month? If there's no discussion, is there a motion?
I move it.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Vote by raising your hand. Any opposed? Unanimous passed. Okay, very good.
Great.
One item done. C2 is receiving a staff update on sustainability initiatives.
All right, this will be pretty short since I was out for a good chunk of the time between our last meeting. Our landfill solar project, we've redone our RFP for that. So that is under review, going through the process. So once that gets, we check all the boxes on that, we will re-release that. Hopefully get some proposals from other vendors. Our preliminary budget has been submitted to the city manager's office and finance. One of the things that we put in there is funding for a roadway safety action plan grant. This would be through the Department of Transportation, and it would kind of be a next step on the active transportation plan and really trying to incorporate roadway safety, because that's a high priority based on the survey and citizen comments that we've received so far for the active transportation plan. It also will help us secure future funding for implementation grants. So kind of just a step along this long process that we're going along. So
Does that
hopefully
be the main source of funding is through the government?
it's through the government, it's an 80-20 match to get one of those, the safety action plans created. So we would basically go through, have a consultant similar to how we're doing the active transportation plan and this would be a little bit broader on roadway safety. So,
If we needed $10 million.
yeah, it's not gonna be that much,
All
but
right,
yeah,
but hypothetically,
Yes.
10 million, 8 million from the government, which put up 2 million.
yes. So, they have a lot of funding for that right now, so hopefully that's something that we'll apply for later in the year. The active transportation plan, we had a very successful public input event, on the 17th. We had a little over 30 attendees kind of come through. It was, filled up the room pretty well. We had 4 or 6 individuals from Kinley Horn, our consulting company on the project, and city staff there. That's not counting towards the total attendees. Few members of council were there, the mayor, a few other members of council were there too, which was great. Yeah, a lot of good input. We had all the different boards that you saw in the presentation and a few other ones. So people were ranking their priorities, saying, hey, I feel safe. This is my level of comfort on this type of bike infrastructure versus this. We had the maps on the table, people were drawing on, putting comments. So basically all of that input is being compiled right now by our consultants, and we'll hopefully start meeting with them again probably next week to get some of their preliminary work. And so what they'll do with that, take a lot of the priorities, some of the planned projects that they're looking at, and use that to help rank which ones will start at first. I attended the American Planning Association conference, little outside of my scope, but so much of sustainability is in the planning and zoning area. You guys have already seen that a lot, just watching council meetings and having P&Z come here. So I wanted to kind of learn a little bit more about that. And it's just a lot of similarities on the national level from what I'm seeing in the sustainability world and the planning world. So hopefully we can continue to kind of do that here. We've met with former Mayor Glancy on the compost project idea that he has. We were going to have him speak at today's meeting, but after meeting with him, he needs a little bit more time, and staff needed a little bit more time to do some research. We got some pricing information that he had mentioned. So we have that. Basically, we're going to compile all of that information and provide it to him, provide it to the mayor to see, where they want to go with it. I'm not quite sure what role the committee is going to have with that. We'll likely have him back at a future meeting, maybe in June or July, but we'll just kind of see on that. Water rebates, I believe we've got 85 toilet rebates submitted. We have 5 for the irrigation checkup. 5 applications that we've received for that. So we've been putting the outreach out for that. Gotten quite a few calls on that. So.
Al, are you one of the 5?
What's it?
Are you one of the 5?
I gotta do that though.
Okay.
And then the lights out proclamation, was proclaimed at the April 16th council meeting. Thank you all for being in attendance there. They put that out in Branch Bulletin, the photo and everything with the mayor, which is great. Signs are out and can't remember when off the top of my head when the peak migration season ends. It's coming up, but ironically, that always happens when the egrets show up at City Hall. So it's kind of,
Stinky.
yeah. And it was after the day that I came back to my car after the meeting and the birds had pooped all over my car. I was like, come on, I was just trying to protect you guys with my committee over here. So.
No good deed,
yeah.
Alex, no good deed.
And then the water conservation plan was also adopted, that John Roach with Public Works spoke about at our April meeting. That was also adopted. And our next meeting is June the 12th.
What was the name of the meeting you went to, American Planning
Association.
Association?
EPA.
Thank you, Al. Our next agenda item is C3, receive a presentation on the LEED for city's designation.
Bryce, would you hit the power button on that dash there? Get the screen full of it.
For the Eagles, just in case.
No, I think I left those in there. All right, so we're gonna talk about LEED for cities. And so some background on this, LEED is operated by the US Green Building Council. So you maybe have heard of LEED buildings or seen this logo on certain buildings. Price, I believe you work in one of these, right?
Almost, we're getting there.
Almost, okay. So you're in the progress on the building side. So LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And it started mostly with as a rating system for green buildings. So how sustainable is a building? They have, different levels, silver, gold, platinum, I think maybe there's a bronze. And so that's how it started. LEED has expanded now to include a rating system for cities. So there used to be a program called Star Communities. And that was basically a huge, long checklist. I actually have still a binder in my office. It's really thick and it goes through all these different areas that relate to sustainability. So everything from air quality, water conservation, and then kind of looking at equity, justice, safety, public safety, different things like that. So this really big encompassing framework. I worked on that when I was with the City of Plano. A lot of other cities that were working on sustainability got certified with that at the time. That morphed into and was purchased by the US Green Building Council into LEED for cities. So it is that kind of building rating system, but thinking about it almost as a rating system for communities. So this program has a variety of categories, kind of like I mentioned. So transportation, water efficiency, energy and greenhouse gas emissions, quality of life, a lot of the things that are within our sustainability plan that we're working on. And it's a combination, there's still kind of a checklist of, does your city have this policy in place? Do you have programs for this? Or do you have a practice where you do this? And that's how you earn points towards certification. So I have 3 examples listed here. These are things pulled from that checklist. Adoption of a sustainable procurement policy. Y'all recommended that city management adopt that, and they did. Percentage of residents within a half-mile walk to green spaces. We're a city in a park, so we've got a pretty good probably pull on that. Water usage and gallons per capita per day. Done a lot of work on water conservation. So these are things that we're working on, and it can be used to see where we're at in all of these categories. So some of the benefits here, it is a certification program. So if we go through it, we get certified, there is recognition for that. It's a national standard too. So Carrollton's going through this. We're going through it. We're potentially going through it. But so we can compare ourselves through this framework to peer cities or cities around the country. And then I think one of the things that would be really good too is a gap analysis. So if we score, not super great in a category, we know, hey, if we want to ever get that next level, we need to really put some focus on this. And that can maybe highlight something for policymakers, for city management to realize like, okay, I see we're coming up short here. We can do better. We can work on programs to fill a need. And
Alex, are you saying that LEED will do this for us?
so that is the checklist. So like we applied for the certification and went through all of this, then we would have those things. So we would get the recognition through a certification. We would have a score so we could compare to other cities.
Do we determine the gap or do they tell us?
I'm sorry?
Will they tell us what the gap is or?
Yes, so we'll basically, in all of these categories that are listed here, like this natural systems, transportation, water efficiency, there's gonna be a score for every one of those.
We'll give us this.
So if we scored really well on water efficiency, we'll be like, okay, we're doing well, but maybe we're not doing well on greenhouse gas emissions, so we need to focus more effort on that. And right now, so the reason we bring this up is there's an accelerator program for Texas cities and they're waiving the registration fee. So there's, I guess for a little bit of context, there's a lot of federal money coming down the pipe right now, through Inflation Reduction Act, all these other things too. So there's a lot of that coming through for sustainability work in the future. There's also a heavy interest from like foundations to work with Texas cities. So George P. Mitchell Foundation, this one is actually, I think, funded through Bank of America. They have these sustainability initiatives and they kind of realize that the state Texas as a state has such a huge population. We're a very high greenhouse gas emitter, but we also have so much potential in renewables, all of this, but there's not a huge leadership push in sustainability from the state. So they're working to kind of get that driving in the cities themselves. So there's programs kind of for Texas, especially this one, and they're working because it is still a hefty document to go through. There's an accelerator program that they're going to be working on in the summer that if we want to participate in this, we can jump in on, and hopefully they'll have staff support to make this a little less of a lift for us to do. By us, I mean.
Right.
So,
Just a deadline for us to accept this or?
So
pursue
they spoke at a conference in Dallas, early April. I think it was before our last meeting. And Mayor Lynn was actually in attendance for they sent information to all the mayors and Mayor Lynn was in attendance. So he hasn't really pushed one way or the other on this. But he kind of absorbed the material and I think mentioned it in a further council meeting. So we have expressed interest in participating, but wanted to bring it to the committee to discuss, get your thoughts, and see if that's something that we want to move forward on. Yeah, and I guess the drawbacks is it will take time to do. But I think, it's not, we're not spending a ton of time just to get like a medal. It's okay, there's a reason if we compile all this data, we can use it to then inform our decisions and our programs moving forward. So.
What is the registration fee?
The registration fee, I think is like $3,000 or something like that. And then there is a certification fee. So they have to, basically you're paying them to review your application and everything and to get your LEED sticker.
Yeah.
Essentially. So we would still have to pay that. That would be upon completion of the application.
Are there any potential negative repercussions if we score particularly poorly?
I mean, if we go through it and we don't have enough points for certification, then yeah, I mean, we probably wouldn't publicize that.
Right.
That should have turned
But
out
again, we'd still have the
But we
data.
would still have a lot of data and then we would show, hey, look, we're doing this on sustainability and we're still only, we're 3 points shy of getting certified. What can we pass in order to get those 3 points? So there's an opportunity for something like that.
It gives a baseline either way.
Yeah.
And you could publish it on like page 4.
Yeah, that little small back corner of your water bill.
Almost got LEED certified.
Well, I looked at who was certified in terms of like these cities, and it was a weird list, to be honest. Like the big three, like Austin, Denton, or Austin, Houston, San Antonio were there. Dallas is not on it, but like Corinth is on there, and Plano. Plano kind of makes sense, but I was not expecting Corinth to be on there.
There's money.
But yeah, it's on like,
I didn't know Brent was on there. I know some of those are, I guess, carried over from the Star communities, but I know Plano has gone through this iteration of it, and then Carrollton is starting it now. They're in the national cohort right now. They, I guess, signed up for that before, the Texas one came through.
What'd you say Carrollton is?
They're working on the same program, but there's a national cohort that they were accepted into. And that, but they did that before we found out there was a Texas. But yeah, I think Houston, Austin, San Antonio, I don't know if they've gone through this iteration with LEED or if it was the previous Star communities that they carried over. I know that's a lot of information, but
Well, this seems like a great place to start. I mean, we might as well find out where we're at, you know, in this process and.
And with the accelerator program, then it's less of a work for us.
yeah, and a little bit of financial savings and yeah,
Yeah.
they have they have an intern for each of, I think they're doing 4 regions. One of them is the Texas region, and they have an intern, I think, dedicated to each region. So to help with a lot of the stuff is pulling information from like census data and different things like that. So I think that's what they'll help assist with, to take a little bit of a load off staff, because it can be intensive, but luckily I've gone through something pretty similar to this before, so it shouldn't be, it's still gonna be a lot of work, but it's not gonna be totally new for
Were
me
you
to do.
involved with Plano and doing?
Yes, yeah, with the Star Communities, which is the predecessor to this one.
And what's the certification fee?
The certification fee, I think, is 8,000.
Okay, so.
So it's not,
Still is-
it's not cheap,
No,
but yeah, you can
instead of $12,000, we'd only be spending $8,000
pretty much, yeah.
to get the benefit.
If you're working towards this, will you get like the government grants that you're talking about? If I know you're working towards this, does that make our application look better?
I think it would, and I think like if we're applying for just any sort of federal funding and we say, hey, we're a lead city, I think that's gonna bolster an application, so that would probably be a good way to sell the financial cost of, certifying, hey, this isn't just for public recognition, this is gonna really help us strengthen our applications and, put us on that list of cities there.
which is not
That
very
shows them.
expensive. I mean, it's still pretty short lived.
Yeah, Al, if you have a-
We could be one of the top.
Economic development, if you're looking at economic development, there are a lot of companies
Mhm.
that would rather move to a lead city, certified city.
Yeah.
And I think, given that, mayor wants to increase our tax revenue from businesses, I think that would be a good program to get after.
No, I think that's a good way to look at it.
It's all PR, baby.
So is the certification purely based on how the municipality functions? It's not based on any of the businesses within our city?
So some of it will be the operations of the city, like if we have a policy in place, like the procurement policy, but then some of it will be based on actions of like the entire city. So I think one of the things on transportation is like the mode share, how people get around the city. So we're probably not gonna score super great in that. We do have transit and we have the Go Link, we have, access, we have good access to it, but as far as the miles traveled and stuff, or percentage of people that commute via public transportation or active transportation, probably not super well.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be some things that we'll learn too as we go through this. How can we can do some stuff in our own operations, but a lot of this is gonna be very community focused.
So it could eventually help influence different policies or the way that we move forward and how we operate the city.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I would think so, because if you're gonna implement something, you can kind of punch in the checklist and say, well, we can't really do that because that'll knock us down a couple points on our lead. We lose our lead certification. We don't want to do that. So once you get it, you want to keep it. So you kind of want to make the policies to keep it and.
Yeah.
And get better.
I think it's just, it would be a good leadership tool for encouraging businesses to put in solar, to put it, you know, like things that are kind of out of our scope of influence as a city.
Yeah.
We can ask people to, or like, this might be a good incentivizer, like, you know, because they will be a part of that evaluation process.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a good way to think about it is when we talked about our greenhouse gas inventory, we had the city and the community. And like the city operations is like 2 or 3% of the entire community. So that's why we need to work on, you know, we have the power switch trying to get people to switch to renewable. We have the solar switch trying to get people to put on solar. Because even if we went carbon neutral, somehow didn't waste a drop of water as municipal operations, there's still a much broader.
So the landfill equation,
Yeah.
essentially.
97%.
Right. One of the things I was reading about is like to your point about the economic arguments, like LEED certified buildings, like the economics of it just make a lot of sense, like in terms of occupancy and like what they can rent it out for. And they also have like this, they call it spillover effect that like actually ends up permeating the rest of like the neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if like you can spill over to Carrollton and get them to get a green grabber
Yeah.
and things like that.
Share it.
Well, and hopefully with this accelerator program for Texas cities, there will be other ones in our region doing it too. So there might be benefits or adventure there.
Does Texas State have any, any additional grants or any perks to be in Lead City?
So not that I'm aware of from the state. Some cities, I think will give like, if, you know, when they're doing economic development, they'll give different like tax breaks to, you know, businesses if they're gonna relocate and build a LEED building versus just a regular building. I don't believe we have anything like that in place, but I don't think there's anything from the state side, but some individual cities have different things like that.
So are there other things like, you mentioned sustainability procurement? Is there other things that we should be waiting on this that we have in place before moving forward? Or is that something we can develop while we're going through it and implement before the final stage? Like what's the timeline look like on that?
So with this, it would start in the summer and would probably take between 9 and 12 months. So in the meantime, we would kind of be following our current path with the sustainability plan. Luckily, that aligns really well.
Yeah.
If there's like a certain policy, so for example, we did talk about EV and solar ready here. We took that to study session in council and it's just sat there. They haven't tried to pick it up. That is a requirement for, or not a requirement, but something you can get points on. So maybe when we if we, you know, are working on this and hey, that's gonna give us 2 additional points to our certification, then that can, I guess, push that policy again. So does that answer your question?
Well, I guess
sidetracked,
My
sorry.
concern is, do we have to have those things in place before we begin? Or can we do those things as we're on?
Oh, yeah, we can do it simultaneously.
That's great.
It's not like only. the start
Yeah,
date,
it's not as of
then
June
June
1.
1st, whatever you have in place, this is what we're gonna grade you on. It can be.
Yes, whatever we have
That's nice, good.
in
Yeah.
place when we submit the application, probably, let's just say June of 2025.
Yeah,
When do we need the $1,000 for certification?
That would be when we, like June of 2025.
yeah.
So I went ahead and put that in our budget ask.
Thank you.
So just preemptively put that in there. They can always take it out, but you know. if
Or
we
they
say
get it
that-
back if we don't use it, right? I mean, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that that'll go through. And so if this is something we want to work on, I think we can demonstrate the value of it. And it'll also, I think timing wise, work out pretty well as we're, you know, coming into what, the 3rd year of the sustainability plan. We kind of thought that plan would be a 3 to 5 year timeline before we kind of create 2.0. And so this, you know, if we certify, kind of have those gap analysis as we work to do the next version of the sustainability plan. It provides a pretty good reference mark for us and say, okay, transportation, we need a lot of work, or whatever the category that we, you know, score low in, that needs to be a bigger focus in the next iteration of the sustainability plan.
So do you think we would have enough time, considering all these factors at play, where we could have the initial assessments beginning and then we could develop a piece and give it to the council and say, hey, we need to get these things done within this time frame. Is that like reasonable or?
I
do you
think
we'll just
so,
Miss the first.
because I think what we would do is as we're compiling, getting all the data, the evidence or, whatever that shows we have this policy in place, we can kind of have an active scorecard.
Yeah.
Going, okay, we expect to get 2 points in this category, 3 points in this one, and sort of know where we're at. And then I think as we get closer to the end, if we look and say, hey, we're 3 points shy of certification, we take that to council, a few months before and say, hey, we're close. Here's 5 things that we could do in order to get those points. What works best for you?
Good.
And, so I think that's definitely a possibility. And I haven't dug through everything. I think that we would have enough points to be at least certified. I don't know if we would be a higher ranking. It's kind of hard to tell without being in their system. But I think that we stand a good chance of getting certified in it. And so, then it would be, how close are we to the next level?
Do you think there's a pretty good chance for us at least getting the very
The
base level?
baseline,
at
yeah,
this
it
point?
looks like, I think we would be able to get that based on just. the-
Bronze or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that one's just a basic lead certification.
You didn't get a color. Just like fourth place, presentation prize.
City buildings are pretty sustainable.
Yes, so we build ours to code and we've gone above code, obviously with solar and different things like that. Like this is probably one of our newest ones, so it's really efficient. It's not a lead building though. A lot of cities will have policies in place, like where you have to build lead for every new building. It does have the cost, but you get that payback in operations. But then you have to pay a certification fee to get that
Specific.
that building approved, which, is great for recognition, but it can be expensive. So what a lot of times cities will do is they'll build to the standard, but not get certified. Because there's no plan to sell this fire station. If you build an apartment building and you lead, platinum, you can, as a developer, know, hey, I can demand a higher price for this because it's certified.
But once the city gets certified, whatever level it's at, they're not required to build any new fire stations at the lead standard. You can just build it
Yeah, that would just be
as sustainable as we can within a reasonable budget.
for sure.
You get certified and then demoted?
So, I think you have to reapply for certification every so often, like 4 years or something like that.
So is that how long the certification lasts?
Yeah, I think it's 4 years.
So there's a,
I'll get a clearer answer on that.
Well, that's kind of, like I was saying though, you got the benchmark and or baseline and then everything, when you're making your policies, you want to make sure you stay above that baseline, because if you work hard and get this designation, once you get it, it's kind of like working out. You see, you stay working out so you don't get tired when you're done. You keep going and you keep building up from participation to bronze to silver,
Well, and it will probably be a moving target as it was look long-term into the future. So whatever version that this might go, the first version of this in 10 years, they're going to be asking for way more than what
Right.
they're asking for now. Same way with the buildings, a lead platinum building 20 years ago is probably just standard code now.
Yeah.
So.
So is there a, obviously there's gonna be, if there's an ongoing renewal process, there's gonna be an ongoing fee structure. So is that, I'm sure that's gonna be a question.
Yeah, that's
Every
something
4
we have to
years, are we
take.
gonna have to spend $12,000 to get this re-registration certification thing?
Yeah, we'll have to get some more information on that, on how long the designation.
I would assume, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, somebody's gonna wanna know that.
Yeah.
What's the long-term financial commitment
Yeah, that's a good.
to maintain this certification?
Alex, do we need to inform city council what we're doing, or is this?
So I'm just getting feedback right now from y'all. We've had internal discussions with staff, and we did put that 8,000 into the budget. So I guess the next step will be, as the department meets with city manager's office on budget and with finance, just informing them of this, and then they'll communicate with the council in the best way they see fit.
We don't want the council to come back and say to us, you did what?
Yeah.
Don't want that.
No, we don't.
Good communications, excellent. Any other discussion?
Do you need us to like make a,
No, there's not a formal vote on this. I just wanted to kind of get a sense of where everyone stands, but it sounds like move forward as we can.
I think it's worth it just to know, how far outside the bounds are we, or have we already made it to a level?
Yeah.
If not, then that gives us our points to stick on.
Yeah,
I think that's very valid, yeah. Where we are.
and for the Brookhaven, do you guys participate in the STARS program? It's like the
We have in
college.
the past.
Okay, this is very similar to that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of probably how you would participate in that, kind of the same thing.
This will really help the sustainability plan 2.0.
Yeah.
Be good. Thank you, Alex.
Thank
I
you.
have one
Yes.
quick question, thought, the juice might not be worth the squeeze on this, but I don't know if it's worth like developing like almost like a crosswalk of like, here's LEED certification, here's Bird City, here's tree, whatever, and then like seeing where
Where
there
it all
might be alignment, just like be more efficient.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Use it, bridge.
Right.
Yeah, so like where you're at, where.
Venn diagram.
Been done, something.
Simon's the same. It's not-
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, what action gets us 3 points, like it's
Yeah, and
it's
if
three
there's
targets.
any efficiency doing it.
Yeah,
So
there, I'm sure there is, because there's probably, well, maybe not, there's the lighting is
Because I
gonna
think lighting
be,
and birds.
yeah, there's gonna be some kind of crossover. And if there's half a mile to the green space, there's probably some sort of like amount of green space or amount like
Yeah.
something.
All right, moving right along. Item C4, discuss upcoming elections for committee chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. And we will do this in June. And I'm thinking a year ago, we may have had nominations and voting the very same evening. We're not doing that this year. So nominations, you can nominate yourself or someone else. You can do it tonight or inform Alex, between now and the next meeting, but we'll actually do the elections next time.
When's your last meeting?
Next month.
No,
I don't like your attitude.
Nobody may not know that, but I'm not coming back for a second.
Oh, neither
If
am I.
we protest that,
Seriously?
Yeah, next month is my last meeting. See?
Okay, well,
I got a promotion in McKinney, so we're likely moving.
Congratulations and boo. He got some mixed emotions.
well, next month, you don't nominate either Shelby or myself.
It is.
But, yeah. Did you find out whether alternates can be nominated for any
Yes,
office?
alternates can be nominated for any of the positions, but cannot go unless they're, if we have full attendance, an alternate can't vote, even if they're the vice chairs.
Or the chair?
Yeah.
All right, so y'all get that? As far as I'm concerned, all of you are qualified for any of these positions. Yes, absolutely. Do not be afraid to nominate yourself or someone else. I'll probably nominate all of you, so.
And biggest backgrounds, the chair leads the meetings, presents to council. It's only once a year now. I think either November or December. Vice chair obviously stands in if the chair is unavailable, and secretary is responsible for providing meeting minutes, which Bryce loves to do, so much.
So if we're losing both Joseph and Shelby next month, are we having any when is the next round of appointments?
I'll be meeting with city council. It's towards the end of May or sometime middle of June.
But they have applicants.
Yes.
They have, okay.
Yes, yeah. I think those are close.
So does that mean everyone here will move up, or are we all gonna be?
Yeah, that's normally how it works, is if you'll move up if you're an alternate,
Okay.
then you'll move into, you can basically move.
So that's real easy.
You're a real person. I'm a real member now. I get to vote.
All the things.
so I did reapply, right?
Yes, so Anyone whose terms are expiring that I've reached out to, I've said that, yeah, you're interested in moving forward or, you're not. So you should be all set with that.
Are you leaving too?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll still be here.
We stand so much heartbreak in one day.
Much that I'm sure are your ones.
Well, another, responsibility for the chair is to meet with Alex and put together the agenda.
Yes. And that can be done in person or Teams, whatever works best for your schedules.
Can
So,
you do that by Zoom?
yeah, Zoom, whatever works best for folks. We can be flexible with that.
They go to lunch with the mayor and have like a chairperson's brunch every month and like, I feel like there's more that you're not saying.
They do have a chairperson's dinner, or is it dinner or
It's not dinner,
meeting?
yeah, it was at. Yeah, I think it's right before this, once or 2 or 3 times a year.
Does it true you also get access to the city jet?
Whoa.
The city jet is
Scooter.
solar.
Right,
Yeah.
the solar jet.
So exactly.
But if you are the chair, it does open a lot of opportunities for you to meet with other people in the city because you are recognized. And that's really cool.
And it led to your new amazing opportunity.
And we'll find out. Well, yeah, it did lead to that. Yeah, it did. So you want to take nominations tonight or?
Yeah, we can do nominations tonight, or if you would rather nominate privately, you can send me an email in the next 2 weeks or so, but any nominations tonight are welcome.
Want to do it open here tonight or just privately?
I mean, does anybody want?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, self-nominations are perfectly fine.
If no one is going to stand up and say they want to be chair, I can nominate myself. But I'd rather some of you nominate yourself.
I nominate Al.
I'm just saying, she's the vice chair. I think she's natural to be up there.
Well, that's the whole point. There can be some intimidation just by saying, I want to nominate myself for this and this. But you can do that, but there'll be other nominations for the various positions too. So I don't want anybody to feel intimidated that, well, Al's gonna do this, so. Yeah, I thought maybe I'd nominate myself for chair, but if he's gonna do it, then don't have that kind of thing.
No, I mean, it's important for us to be represented well.
Yeah.
And and I think everyone here contributes quite a lot to the committee.
Yeah.
So.
How much time would you say you commit to?
Well, when Alex and I meet, it's 30 minutes. Once a month. And you do meet with the chairs, maybe I'm saying 3 times a year.
And that's like,
It's
The
not
bare
even
minimum.
dinner, it's just getting together.
I'm just saying like, there's the requirement, like, cause we all have jobs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
Just been-
I know you've been a very active chair, meeting with different council members and the mayor and,
Yeah, but none of that's required. If you want to do it, it's available to you.
Gotcha.
And the chair, you need to have some, presence, public presence.
Sure. That makes sense.
You'll get up there with the lights out, Texas.
I love they showed the picture and
Was that good?
the dinner. Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay. All right, wonderful.
Well, one nomination, Al, for chair. But please,
Don't be shy. I don't mind
Yeah.
losing. I don't mind withdrawing.
That's the drawing. That's another level.
And what did you say the vice president,
The vice chair.
Vice chair.
Basically, if the chair is absent, we'll lead the meetings
Oh.
and take over those responsibilities.
Okay.
Oh, no,
think about it. I will nominate for chair.
Good. I withdraw.
Now we have two nominations for chair.
I'll nominate myself for vice chair.
The price for vice chair.
Vice for vice chair. There you go.
Price for vice, what up? Price is vices.
Oh, you got the buttons already made in your mind.
I'd like to call attention to Price's socks.
The don't match.
No, I was gonna say, those are great socks. They're great.
Yeah, I know, like,
That's
that's
what we
good.
need.
Or whatever.
Socks and stocks, it's the look.
Get them up for the case.
Check out Joe, you know. Is that not?
I'm serious, I'm gonna withdraw. If she's gonna do it, I'll vote for her. I wanna,
Well, we can have more than one person nominated.
We're voting at the next meeting, right?
Next
So this
meeting,
is just a
and-
preliminary
That's
discussion.
Yeah,
Private
Get
ballot.
people to talk about it,
yeah.
think about it.
Does anyone want to self-nominate for secretary?
I can't type.
I'm that good.
I can type.
I don't know how to use a computer.
Are you trying to get?
You are.
Well,
Trying to
if
get out of
it's
it?
named vice chair, then
I'll
people
do
can out of it.
Hey, I nominate
There you
Ted for
Yeah, if
secretary.
you're just trying to get out of it, I can do that, but if anybody else wants to, then I don't want to.
We're all just like, if nobody else wants, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
We're like,
I think it's like every year it's kind of the same.
Basically, they give us
I'm like,
like take down.
It kind of eases into the analysis, in case you got something.
So if I put more detail than is required, he'll just call it and it's fine.
Yeah, I'll probably leave it. My detail is the best. I mean, I give a pretty bare bones. And, but,
It could
Lauren,
be like the salient point,
that's the only point. Lauren was
Everything
like the whole time.
an actionable item, so.
Yeah.
Here's too much.
So read some of hers and read some of his, and then you'll have,
Do a
fall
happy
right in
medium.
the middle, yeah.
I can do that.
You'll like have a frame of reference.
Well, we have a nomination for secretary and vice chair. right?
And chair,
And two for chair.
Almost as fast as people speak,
there you go.
but not quite.
You should do that.
Way better than me.
But I don't wanna, they're like, each person said this.
No, don't do that.
That was one.
Yeah, we need to do that.
But you know, what's the happy medium?
Sure.
Lauren was
Allison
like a
had the
court
link.
reporter. She was just
Running
like.
a tutorial.
You go, right?
Typewriter.
Amazing.
Anything that was discussed, you don't take names. If there's a motion made, then you just say motion was made and it passed.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, it's not like a narrative or a story, you know, right?
Because it's all videotaped anyway. so
Yeah, sure.
Ultimately, if someone really wants to know who said exactly what. It was on.
The owl will catch it.
Is that what it's called?
It looks like an owl.
Only the solar flare can see this.
Yeah, it's an L.
That's true.
Or like one of the weird nights.
We haven't,
Who do I need to put that? I suppose.
we haven't heard
put that-
from
those
Lisa. Are you interested?
Minutes. Whoops.
Sure. You want us to nominate you for?
Honestly, I'm at my limit with my life outside. Like, I like coming and I like participating and I'm happy to just do some things, but
Should be.
also I don't think I have the.
No. You're gonna allow him to run other things for vice or are you going to run for vice?
No, I don't want.
If between now and June 12th, you can nominate
The
yourself.
sharp stick to the phone.
If I change my mind,
I understand.
you're drunken, super, I will.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So why don't we say if there's any other nominations, whether for other people or self-nominations, to get them to me by May 22nd. It'll be anonymous. I won't say who nominated who or anything like that. And then if there's any others, then we'll have the ballots for the 3 positions coming in June.
Perfect.
Would you send a reminder to
Alex.
everybody?
Yes, I'll send.
Alex, I'm serious. I'm gonna withdraw. I don't
I
want.
don't know if you can withdraw if you weren't.
I mean, you.
I haven't accepted.
I missed.
I mean, he nominated you, you just suggested that you would be open to it.
So that's
You have
right.
to
Shelby
make that
nominated
motion,
you.
Strike it from the record.
Yeah, I make a motion, strike it from the record that I was not.
I'm not accepting that nomination.
I mean, you should be able to refuse a nomination. I feel like that's
Well,
fair.
that's like a double nomination then. He nominated himself and then Shelby nominated him.
Right.
Yeah, we withdraw.
I feel like we're getting in the weeds.
Yeah.
Anyway, voting next month, June 12th.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, guys. The next one is, C5, receive subcommittee updates, built in natural environment.
So, yeah, we just need to know we need to come up with any responsibilities related to the website and putting up education. And then I wasn't sure if you've heard anything back from the tree master, or not tree master,
The
naturalist.
no, I'm not. I will follow up on that and see if we can get a date scheduled for the fall.
And then will we need to revisit the committees and if Shelby's stepping up after we get replacements or?
Yes, we'll probably do that in July. I think that's a good point to bring up. Though.
I was just catching up on the nominations. What was Build Natural?
Just checking to see what, or if there's anything we need to take action on with the, education piece on the website, putting things up. And then Alex is gonna check in on the natural master composter. Naturalist.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Communications.
So we will have a table at the Denton Drive Live on Saturday. If anyone wants to, Lauren's already volunteered to be there with me, but if anybody else wants to stop by.
What are the hours?
6:30 to 10, or I don't know exactly. It's, okay. We'll be there.
Okay.
And that's the only thing that asks is that we stay for the whole thing, so. You're into that. And I've been working with Laura.
Yeah, Laura's got
Yes.
you all covered. I asked her today if I needed to help compile all the
Perfect.
supplies, and she said that she had it taken care of.
Wonderful. I'm going to pick everything up tomorrow. She gave me a very long list. It's kind of like all the things that y'all brought up here, the samples that y'all brought up here. But just decided it would be better to just focus on like 3 or 4 things. I don't want people to just like come through and smorgasbord and like, I'll take one of everything and, kind of more focused. And since it's a pet-friendly event, I decided to go with poop bags and the mosquito dunks and the recycle magnet. So I felt like those are good.
They let this there? No.
The historical park,
Did you drive on?
that's what it says.
Oh, they
Yeah, they
relocated it.
Pet-friendly event.
Okay, that makes sense.
Please pick up after your animals.
Oh, that's great. Is that the historical park?
Because of all the construction on,
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it's a nightmare.
yes. And so, this will be our first Denton Drive Live this year, so looking forward to that. There's another one.
June 1.
There'll be one in June, and I think one more in July, so,
June 1, July 13th is what we said last meeting.
hopefully we will attend both of those.
Do we need to talk about June 1? Because that'll happen before next meeting.
The volunteers would be awesome.
That's the Saturday. also.
Yeah, it's on Saturdays. So June 1 is, it'll be July 13th, you said, which is a little ways off. So if, anybody's can volunteer, please let me know. I have to give the historical park like a week in advance that we're gonna be there, so they can, because they've got like Nuevo Leon, and they've got other vendors and stuff, so we gotta like let them know.
Right.
Like a week or
What do you
so.
have? A tent or table?
Just a table with like a banner and our stuff.
And what are the hours? Because you said we can't come and go. It would be
Well,
full and
you could come and go, like if you're like, I can be there from 7 to 9 or 7 to 8, or I can come for an hour, that's fine. But the table has to be manned the entire time.
you said 6:30, 10?
I think so. I can double check.
June first?
I live super close, so.
So-
Get anyone else, and I'll be your backup.
Okay, I mean, that's great. I mean, this first one out, I'm committed to being there the whole event. But maybe for the next one, if we can do like, maybe a couple people come to the first part, a couple people come to the second part, or something like that, so that it's not just always falling for everybody to have to be there the whole time if you're volunteering. And it's,
You can do it based on the bands.
yeah.
See the listener, the closer.
Right. Well, we're actually right by the stage, so we'll be able to see.
Which makes it really hard to talk.
Oh, they got.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, but I mean, food bags are pretty self-explanatory,
The fan.
No demos.
We didn't have any
No
fans,
fans.
but I brought my little fan. This isn't the one that she made, but I was thinking, like, can we get like something kind of like this shape and then like have, like a mosquito with a little red line through it, with a QR code underneath it, so they can,
Yeah.
and then like a bulk pickup day with a little individual QR, not for this. I understand that this is going to take some,
Yeah, Laura got pricing on fans to get them done through a vendor and they were really expensive. So that's something we probably try to do in-house. So,
okay,
but
well, I mean, even if,
we don't have Athena this year, which is, she was the one that put all that together for us last year.
but I mean, even if in my non-existent free time, I get a creative bug and I'm like, oh, I can design this fan, and send you the PDF. And then,
I'm
we
sure
can,
we could
we can
figure it.
price, tongue depressors and
Yeah.
glue, paper plate or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's-
I'm saying like,
Glue them together.
I
It's
think
not-
Brad is in their meeting.
such a good thing.
Elementary school project.
I mean, even right now. Like heaven.
He's like, don't blow it by me.
I mean, I have my one from last year, but I don't want to bring it because I don't have any to pass out.
Yeah.
So, but I just feel like this is such a good opportunity and it's gonna be so muggy and hot.
Well, on Saturday, the high is 78.
Not too bad.
Not in here.
Was it at 80%?
Yeah. The sun is on you, it gets a lot hotter.
This is the internal situation that's problematic
Alex,
for me,
You
but
said you looked at the cost of the fans and it was the custom printing that made it expensive?
I'm not sure. Laura was the one that I was out of the
well, I
office.
have a meeting with her tomorrow to pick
Okay.
everything up, so I'll get some more information about what.
Cause like, maybe this is convoluted, but you could get stickers made and put a sticker on a blank fan.
Right.
The cost is the printing on the fan is,
Right.
no.
Well, I feel like there's a
Yeah.
creative solution that we can
Yeah,
No,
find,
there's definitely a way to do it.
that it's not gonna cost an arm and a leg for something. And then this isn't really communications related, but I'm gonna just, this is
Go
my
ahead
time to
and
shine, so I'm gonna just
stretch.
say it. I drove by Bicentennial Park the other day. And I think that it is the perfect location for a bluebonnet park, because there's shade trees to put benches under, there's parking right there at that warehouse or whatever it is. So no, there's no, like, if it was here, where are people gonna park to cross the street to come
Right.
take their pictures of bluebonnets? It doesn't, there's two sunny patches and there's like a big shade patch in the middle. I printed out a list of all the 29 parks in Farmers Branch, and I intend to drive by kind of all of them and see if I can identify a couple of options. But I would be really curious to find out like what
That
the
would be
plans are for a
fantastic.
couple of those parks that
Yeah.
are accessible, but aren't really being activated.
Yeah, and I
That's
know what
like
we,
a,
oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry, it's like I feel like it'd be a really low cost investment.
Yeah, when we talked about like grow zones, Bicentennial was one, Creek Ridge and the Valley View Mini Park would be
Mhm.
like kind of maybe where that one's kind of.
Is Centennial the one that I talked about before, where it's just a couple benches and it's
Yeah.
a weird open spot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause it's over there kind of in the industrial.
So yeah, I'll send an
Area.
email to Parks, but I would also, I mean, that would be a good thing probably to either bring up to Parks and Rec Board
Mhm.
or your elected official, just say, this is an idea. That would
Yeah.
maybe be another,
Do we have?
hit it from different avenues.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought like a bluebonnet park where people could like
Amazing.
take
Instead of having to
pictures.
go in where there's, snakes.
Right, well, but also I think that people would be more open to the unsightliness of the reseeding process. If it's like this time of year, we get the bluebonnets and people can go take pictures and, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a return on the investment. And also, it's not really a place like in the residential areas, people are less, I would feel like, less inclined to look at what they seem to view as an unsightly reseeding situation, where over there in the industrial area, it's not like right in your backyard. It's, I just feel like it would be a kind of a perfect place for it. So I don't know if you're saying you think the best option would be to address, there's not someone in parks that we can.
I'll email Parks directly and just let them know that this came up as, a conversation, that was an idea, but I would also just recommend
Okay.
as many avenues as you can.
Sure.
So Parks and Rec Board's a great one. Your elected official is a good one,
Fair enough.
And Parks and Rec meets May 16th.
I just, yeah, and I remember the first one I went to, one of the things that was on the agenda was talking about how to activate the different parks and like they're kind of checklisting through it, like. So I thought,
They're in the pecan room.
Oh, there's.
yeah. May 16th.
Yep.
Citizen comments, May 16th.
Okay.
That sounds ominous.
I might be out of town.
Okay.
It's
That's
not-
fine.
But
I
Sorry.
might be able to go. I don't think I have soccer done it this weekend.
Let me go with you.
Let's see. Let's talk about that after we can go.
do they meet in the evening?
I think so.
I suppose that'd be handy, right?
Pretty certain they did.
Okay.
Hope so.
When do the new council members take their
Be-
seat
21st.
of May?
Yeah, the city council has to canvass the elections, to approve, validate the number of votes. And at the next meeting, there'll be a seat.
Okay, so don't contact my council person until after the 21st.
Yes, if that was the issue,
Because,
Tina or David.
right, got it.
All right. Oh, water conservation.
Nothing to report, but I was proud to be mentioned in the conservation, water conservation report by staff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
By this guy?
No, the toilet replacement was mentioned in the water conservation
Okay.
efforts
All
of
right.
the city. So I'm going to market the hell out of that. What's that?
Irrigation, got
Yeah.
it too.
Irrigation is coming up and then
Man.
once that goes, then we would have the third one coming up.
And then, I mean, it's hot, so water and irrigation is gonna be a big deal coming up pretty soon, so.
That's, I'm expecting quite a few applications, as it gets, well, it's already hot,
Water.
As it gets
Right.
hotter.
more days in a row, yeah.
Plus, people actually need to start watering.
Yeah, when it stops raining. All right, thank you all. Oh, let's move right along. Next agenda item is C6, receive an update from committee members on activities attended.
Well, I went to see 9 to 5 at the Firehouse Theater and it was great. It was a lot of fun and I'm gonna go see I've got season tickets. I'm gonna go see Footloose too. So if y'all get a chance, y'all should go check it out. 'Cause it was fun. Something else that I did too, but I can't. What it was.
Well, this is something upcoming, not past, but I'm going with technically my work hat on. But it's called the Texas Impact Awards. And there's an element of sustainability that's involved, and there's something like a heat map that they put together of like how communities are making an impact. So I don't know what to expect, but we'll report back on anything
When
other.
do you go?
May 29th, May 28th, something like that, in the May.
What was it? The Texas what?
Texas Impact Awards.
Texas Impact Awards.
Well, I was at the city council meeting for 5.5 hours last night.
Man, I started.
It was actually fireworks, nice fireworks.
People were basically civil. There was a couple people that were really pointing fingers and all that, but I really appreciate what Chair Lynn did, Mayor Lynn, because his obligation was only to have 5 people speak on these card rooms. And he said, no, there's so much interest, pro and against, I'm gonna let everybody speak up to 3 minutes. So we went 2 hours and somebody said there were 52 people that spoke, is that?
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what I read.
52.
Wow. No, I didn't say that. I wasn't there, but that's incredible. Yeah. That's even more than the rezoning that they tried to do at Golfing Green.
Wow, 52, yeah.
And was it overwhelmingly one way or the other?
No, it was half and half.
Wow.
It was half and half because those who wanted these card rooms or poker places brought in everybody from outside.
Oh, so they weren't actually citizens.
Citizens of Farmers Branch.
Yeah.
But there were a number of players that reside in Farmers Branch who spoke for, the club room.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, if there's citizens talking during citizens comments.
Yeah.
That's nice. I just don't like the whole Come in and advertise your business during citizen comments.
Well, that was done. A lot of people were upset that Jerry Lynn allowed that to happen.
So of the residents that commented, it was more, and
It was probably 2/3,
Yeah.
against, 1/3 for. I think that's healthy.
yeah, I mean, there's gonna be people who want it.
The good news is the residents are the only ones involved. So,
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
yeah, outsiders can't vote in our election.
Well, yes, that's, but there's still a lot of platform.
Yeah, I understand.
You can't have that, unfortunately. Well,
Well, there was a lot of people who were against it, basically saying we're a family-friendly, city in a park.
Right?
We want to keep it that way.
right,
And, my wife is very discerning. She summarized the whole thing about those who were for it is for their convenience.
right.
To plug in 3 miles closer.
Yeah, there's,
I mean, it's close already.
Movie, basically.
but I think there's other opportunities for something more family-friendly to be part of the entertainment district. That's gonna be, working on over here, is it East Allen or East, from Grant,
Yeah,
east of Midway?
I don't know the exact parameters. We had it on one of our maps, but I
Yeah.
don't know the exact roads that the district falls under.
Outdoorsy related, park related,
Yeah.
climbing, park.
Was there much discussion about the pending lawsuits from the city of Dallas?
Yeah, somebody said that city of Dallas is suing the city of Dallas. That, I may have this wrong, but my understanding, what I heard was that city of Dallas approved a club room for here, just south of us, I guess, the Harry Hines.
Mhm.
So that was approved, so the club room went forward with that. And then the city of Dallas rescinded that and took that, their application away. But that was within the city of Dallas, so city of Dallas is doing city of Dallas, and
Like one department's doing another or something?
yeah, something like that, which sounds crazy.
I did like a very, very short look at it, and it was, what I saw was the city pushing for an additional $70,000 to use on lawyers to push that suit. And I was like, an additional, okay, so there's a lot, something going on. But that would, I was just hoping that would be laid out more in our council meeting, but it wasn't.
Now, it was also presented last
Yeah.
night, I think, through our city attorney, that this is not the end all for, the club room, that they'd come back later on and submit another application. This is not a final no.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If we were to approve it, what can be done to extricate ourselves if we find out it's even hairier than we thought?
Lawsuits like that.
Yeah, we have to sue ourselves and do all that
It
stuff.
might be going down a little bit of a rabbit.
Yeah, this is not a conversation for.
Yeah.
I think the owl is still looking.
That's the real question.
Would they put solar panels on the roof of their?
Shelby.
That's the question.
They're using only compostable paper.
Oh, yes.
Certain things.
Alex, this is really beyond the scope of our,
Yeah.
It's an interesting
Nothing to
topic
do
though,
with
that's a great question. but-
Only if it's a lead gold card.
Right?
There you
Hey,
go.
you know what? That's a lead goal.
any other meetings, and anybody? Well, I visited our fire department twice. Well, I'm part of the Citizens Fire Academy. I recommend people do that, see that's thing that I'm in there. And, I had an opportunity to go to the fire station, sustainability of people. That's why I'm talking about this. That, went to the fire station once last week and was there for the purpose of actually, it was a call to ride on an apparatus. Ooh, yes, on an apparatus, the fire engine, fire truck, ambulance, whatever, to respond to a call. Zero. Zero.
Which is ultimately good
It's
news
just good news, yes.
and also a huge bummer.
Yeah, it's both ways. But I use that time just to get to know some of the fire personnel. There's 7 others there besides me. There's a lot of good people there.
When they do the national night out and they drive around to the neighborhoods for that, you should try and ride along them.
Yeah.
But it's not emergency.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, but that, we're Santa.
That actually reminded me of something I was gonna ask, since people have to register for that, or they call the city and I'm wondering if we can start like putting together some kind of little sustainability packet that when they register, they get to have at their party, like, so it has like mosquito dumps, and it has, you know, pamphlets about the water program. Yeah, it's like some kind of little, party gift package that they can have at their block party or whatever.
Something that they can hand out.
Yeah, that people can,
What about also for everybody who signs up for the free giveaways, the irrigation thing?
yeah, I just thought this would be a good, I mean, cause that's, we're talking 250 or whatever. With the block parties, I think there's probably less than 100, you know, that would be a more digestible goal. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see what kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? All right, let's close that discussion. Move on to C7, let's discuss agenda items for future sustainability committee meetings. Topics that previously been mentioned include rewilding, landscape, zoning, and sustainable housing, updates on the draft tree preservation ordinance, many recommendations on the landscape ordinance amendments, price with your company.
Yeah.
Will they be ready next month?
Yeah, Owen already has a PowerPoint deck. I just gotta, did I forward you his email?
You sent me something and I'll check and see if his email's on there, just so I can reach out to him directly if I should have for June.
Incentives for sustainable landscaping, expansion of composting opportunities, to increase landfill diversion, low cost solutions to prevent stormwater runoff, wildflower zones and mini parks and traffic signal timing. This was just the concept.
Yeah, those are all ones from before. I don't know anything maybe to discuss coming up water wise, in upcoming meetings, anything water wise? Off the top of your head, other than the irrigation audit?
You know, I need to go to other cities and see what kind of programs they can. That way we can do more than. I know the implementation of AMI throughout the city is a big water conservation, and then also be replacing these pipes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's another water conservation.
That's gonna be a big water saver too, with replacing these
Absolutely.
old pipes, yeah.
Can,
Safe
can
and
we
safe.
get the guy that, I don't know if it's gonna be the guy that presented at the study session last night, but about the lead pipe replacement program and like, I do know, I'm just curious, like, obviously, when they're doing that, that's gonna reduce the amount of leakage and, you know, that we're losing from the source to the from the source to the destination. But beyond that, because we have to do that, we have to do the lead pipe thing. But I would be curious, you know, beyond that, because they were talking about like miles of pipe that need to be replaced. Have they identified places that are leaking, you know, like
Yeah.
how that process kind of works?
Yeah, we can look into that.
There's tremendous amount. Someone gave me a figure of how many lead pipes there are in the city itself. You know, but
It's like hundreds of miles.
there should be, if these pipes are so old and they're clay, they definitely will live.
Yeah,
water. You know,
well, he presented last night at the study session
yes, yeah,
about that and how many miles.
miles of lead pipes there. are.
Yeah, so I think it was an interesting, informative.
You know, what would be great, Alex, is we've implemented two plans, water conservation efforts. One is already in place, but if we can have like a dashboard, just estimated savings of water that you can expect just by those two programs.
Yeah, and I have the numbers. It would just be getting it integrated on the website.
And then also the user interface of the smart meters too.
That's gonna be a big push once that goes active to educate how that works.
I don't know if it's in, I think there is an app that goes with,
It's called Smart Hub that gives you a daily
yeah.
reading on how much water you consume.
Well, and you were talking to other cities, maybe it should be checking out Plano and Corinth as to what their water conservation that went towards their LEED certification. Maybe give us some,
I deal with Louisville. I'd talk to the planning commission to get the as-bills for our building, because we need them for an irrigation issue, so surprisingly responsive, like, bam, pretty, like I was,
Fancy.
well, when dealing in condo, I was dealing with the city of Dallas and not exactly,
Efficient.
no shade.
I'm sure it's a bandwidth issue.
City of Dallas.
I have one thing, my niece and nephew attended fishing fun and they got their fish.
Right.
So they each caught one. Very proud of them. So, they're so cute.
for the catch and release.
Yeah, they decided to let them have another day.
Okay, good.
That's fun.
Good. Well, next month, when you're the Denton Live, that drive,
Mhm.
be able to report on that.
Mhm.
So I guess that'd be activities attended.
Sure, and activities going to attend, because it'll be, I'll have one in June and then the next one in July,
Well, why
so.
don't we make that an agenda item if you'd like?
Sure.
Talk to Alex about.
Oh, yeah.
No backing out, no.
I'm gonna, you make the agenda next month. Any other discussion? All right, that concludes our agenda items. Is there any motions?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hands. Opposed? Our meeting is adjourned at 7:44 PM. Thank y'all for attending.
Thank you, Joseph.
7:44.
Clean.
Can't wait to